Welcome to Chokeholds and Chill. I'm Jen, middle-aged grappler, coffee addict, and proud owner of the world's ugliest armbar.
And I'm Mallory, your training partner who's always laughing, even when being absolutely smashed, submission lover, and early bird fundamentals coach.
Here on Chokeholds and Chill, we dive into the lives of our favorite sparring partners, the highs and lows of training, and what it really means to chase big dreams on and off the mats.
But it's not just about jiu-jitsu. We're here for the laughs, the lessons, and the moments that remind us why we love this crazy sport and this crazy life.
We're here to talk about the good, the bad, and the hilarious, because let's face it, the mat teaches us more than just arm bars and mount escapes.
It teaches us about ourselves and how to navigate through life while being a part of an incredible community of people.
I mean, that's how we met.
Whether you're a seasoned competitor, a white belt finding your footing, or someone who just loves a good story, this podcast is for you.
It's about the roles we take, the people we meet, and the lessons that stick with us both on and off the mats.
So grab your gi, tie your belt tight, and get ready to roll with us.
This is Chokeholds and Chill. Let's get into it.
So I'm really excited to share today's episode with everybody. Today we have Elaine, who's better known as Jiu-Jitsu Grandma. She is incredible. She started training when she was 69. She's 76 now, still trains multiple days per week. I have been following her pretty much since the start of my jiu-jitsu journey. I stumbled across her page and I've just been keeping up with her ever since. And she's a 4-stripe purple belt, such an inspiration, so incredible. I decided that since I was a fan, I was going to go ahead and shoot my shot. I messaged her and I commented on one of her posts on Instagram, and I said that we would love to have her on the podcast. And she was so incredibly kind and agreed to talk to us. And I had like a squealy moment because I was just so excited that she agreed to this. So for a little bit of context, before we called her to do this conversation, we did FaceTime her for a minute just to introduce ourselves face to face, because right now we do only do audio for our podcasts. But just you'll hear the excitement in our voices throughout this interview, but I want to put the image in everybody's heads that we got on FaceTime and literally started squealing like joy. I was just so excited to feel like I was like meeting my jiu-jitsu grandma. Like truly, I was so genuinely excited, and I think that you can tell it's very evident throughout this entire conversation how happy we were to be able to talk to Elaine. So I hope that everybody else enjoys this conversation as much as we did, and we really hope that we get to meet Elaine in person someday and give her a big hug. So without further ado, here's Jiu-Jitsu Grandma. Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. It was so cool. We just got to meet you on video quick, and I like had a little fangirl moment.
Oh God!
But
You guys, no.
so just to do a little intro. So welcome to Chokeholds and Chill.
Thank you.
We have Jiu-Jitsu Grandma, what she's known as. Her name is Elaine, and I have literally been following you since I started doing jiu-jitsu. I don't remember how I stumbled across your page, but I was like immediately just obsessed, and you like reminded me a little bit of one of my grandmothers. And so it just like, and I would actually share your stuff with her, and she thought you were so cool too. Um, so that's my little spiel, and I don't know like Jen's story. But
I just wanted to say thank you for doing this, Elaine, and welcome. We'll definitely talk as we get through this a little bit more about how I have been following you as well.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So I guess we just want to start with, first of all, how are you doing today?
We're having a very quiet day. My husband had had to go to the hospital this morning for a little bit. He had an endoscopy or whatever that stuff is. So we've been just sort of lazing around since we got back. And I'm just sitting on the porch at 74 degrees. It's
Oh,
a nice day.
that
But the bad
sounds.
weather's coming in, so we're just waiting for it to click.
Oh, well, enjoy that nice weather while you can. We're actually having some rare, beautiful weather in Oregon right now. So
Blue
Oh,
skies.
Oregon's a beautiful state.
it
Beautiful state.
it is. Have you been out here before?
I have. I had a friend who lived there, and so I went out and visited her many years ago, and I thought it was beautiful. I did. She was on the coast. Manzanita, I think is where she was.
Oh, okay.
Further north.
Yeah, we're on like the central southern coast in Coos Bay.
Are you both from Oregon
Um,
originally?
so Mallory is I'm originally from upstate New York, actually.
And I'm actually from Southern California.
Oh,
Don't tell everybody. Everybody's we can't live in Oregon and be from Southern California. They don't really like it.
Oh.
that's
But
funny.
yeah, so I mean, before we get into talking about jujitsu, can you like tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, where did you grow up? What kind of hobbies and stuff that you had before you got into jujitsu?
Okay, I was born and raised in Birmingham, Alabama. I'm living just slightly south of the main city now, and I married my high school sweetheart. We
Oh,
met in chemistry class, and I learned a lot about chemistry, but not so much from the book.
I love that.
We've been married almost 56 years now.
Oh my gosh, congratulations. That's incredible.
That's great.
That's right. It's really odd because he's German. He was born in Germany. He
Oh.
rotated over here after World War II. His parents brought him as a little kid and somehow wound up down here in Birmingham and at the same high school. It's really an odd set of events that put us, in the same chemistry class for sure.
That is
That's
so
cool.
cool though. Oh, so you've been married for 56 years, you said?
Yes, we have 3 kids and 7 grandkids. I live on a farm and I have horses, dogs, and cats. So I spent most of my life riding horses.
Oh my gosh, that's
That's my main,
amazing.
yeah, that's my main hobby. I'll just tell you a short story. My husband,
Oh.
when he was in high school, he was a distance runner, and a lot of different colleges around the country wanted him, and he finally chose Auburn. And the reason I didn't get to go to Auburn, I had already been accepted, ready to go, and then Werner wound up accepting the Auburn scholarship. And my mother said, "Well, you can go to Auburn if Werner's down there." And I went, "Well, if I can't go there, I'm just not going." And my daddy pitched a fit. He said, "I can't have a kid that's not going to college." I said, "Well, mother won't let me go." He said, "Well, if you'll take a business for a year, I'll buy you a new car." And I went, "Sold." So I went to business college, started working, and then we got married 3 years later. And I did get that new car, and it's really nice. It was nice.
What kind of car was it?
It was a Chevelle, a white Chevelle with a red top. It was beautiful. 1967 Chevelle.
Wow, that sounds fantastic. I would have
I
taken
can
the
see you.
class.
I can see you driving that.
Oh God, I love that car. And
I bet.
I was just a secretary. I worked before we got married, and then afterward until the second baby came along, at which point Werner wanted me to stay home with the kids, so I did. So I've been a housewife for the rest of my life. It was great.
It's such a blessing to
great.
be able to do that and be so present with your family.
It
So,
really is. It really is.
do all of your kids live nearby?
Well, one daughter lives right next door, literally.
Oh,
One is 10 minutes away, and then my son is maybe 30 minutes down to Birmingham.
oh, so you get a lot of time with your grandkids.
Oh gosh, yes.
Oh,
That's
They're
fantastic.
grand. I'm just saying, they're grand. I love my grandkids.
Grandkids are the best. They are way better behaved than the kids ever are.
Well, the good thing is I don't have to worry about them. If I get tired of them, I can send them home.
Yes.
My main problem is my daughters. Every time I'm going off somewhere with the grandkids, they say, we need another adult mother because you're really not an adult when you're with the grandkids.
Oh, I'm actually very happy to hear that because I have a 7-year-old grandson, and both the other grandma and myself are often accused of being immature with him. So we just want to have fun.
That's exactly right. That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
And I'm not a grandmother or a mother, but I have nieces and a nephew, and I'm also a giant child with them. So
Yes,
it's the best. Kids are just the best in your life. So I'm so glad
they
you
they
have
are.
that.
Me too.
Seven grandkids. That's
Dang.
awesome. What are the age ranges?
Well, the youngest is 5. He just turned 5, and the oldest is 25.
Wow.
She's fixing to turn 26. We had a wide stretch there.
That's a
My
spread.
Well, my son had his kids late, and my first daughter had hers fairly early, so that's why such a long skip.
That sounds about. My parents have my oldest son is turning 29, and then the youngest grandson is still 6. So they have
Oh,
a
okay.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. Have you always been athletic, Elaine, or is jiu-jitsu your first big like sports thing or challenge physically that you've done?
Well, my whole family are athletes except for me. I
Mhm.
was a cheerleader in high school. That's it. That's the extent of my athletic stuff until I started jujitsu.
That is
So it's what's
incredible.
interesting, of everybody. I'm the only one that's actually done national competitions.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
You one-upped everybody.
Nah, 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 nah.
well, you mentioned that you've always had horses, right? So, I mean,
Yes.
horseback riding is a physical challenge for
Yes.
sure.
Oh, it is very just staying on, especially the horses I've chosen through my life have been challenges to say the least.
Hmm.
But I managed to hang on. I hadn't come off a horse but twice in my life, and I've been riding since I was 2. So that's that's saying something.
I
That,
think so. I bet
yeah.
that back control is super tight.
I have a very good grip. They say they talk about that in jujitsu class how strong my hands are, but it's from hanging onto horses.
I love it.
Yeah,
I
that
bet it is.
totally makes sense.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Is anybody else in your family training jujitsu, or are you the Lone Ranger over there?
I had a grandson that went for about 9 months, and then he decided he wanted to do soccer or something else. So he is not training now, and he was really good at it. I'm so, come on, Kate, you could. But everybody else says it's too hard. Really? I mean, if your grandmother's doing it, how hard could it be? I
Right.
mean,
Yeah, and that you started training at 70, right?
I was 69.
You were 69. So that is just,
Yes.
I mean, I was 30 when I started, and
I
how
was
old are
I was
you?
41.
Yeah, so I
Well,
mean, I know that I feel like sometimes when these younger kids are coming into the gym, I'm like, "Oh, I wish I started training so much earlier." But then like
no,
you
no.
when I like stumbled across you on Instagram, I was like, it is never too late to try these new
Never.
and challenging things. So what led you to the mats for the first time?
I started in judo. I had taken the judo class when my husband was in graduate school just because I was bored and somebody offered one. And it was so much fun. It was like a 6 week class or, something like that. And when I got back to Birmingham, nobody taught it. So I just forgot about it till I turned 69. And I saw somebody in a gi walk into a store I was in. And I asked her if she did martial arts, and she said she did jujitsu. And I said, well, I like judo myself. And she said, well, they teach that too. And I went, really? So I called the gym and asked the professor if he took old people. And he did say how old. And when I told him, he said, well, yeah, sure, come on. So I did. And he taught both classes, judo and jujitsu. He's a black belt in both. And after I did judo for a while, he finally said, why don't you try jujitsu too? So I sort of moved over to the jujitsu mat, and that's pretty much where I've stayed. Even though I still go back and do judo some, I love judo.
Oh my gosh. So what were those first few weeks like? Because you met a woman, so that's bonus because I did not have women to train with when I started. So what was that like starting the jiu-jitsu class, not even at your age, but just at a new school in general?
In the I started in judo, and there were no girls in that class. There were teenage boys, and there were guys that looked like the NFL. They played for the NFL. I was it, and it scared the professor to death. He kept saying, "Don't throw her, don't throw her," and then he'd finally say, "Well, you can throw her, but carefully, you know." And I was mainly with the teenage boys, and they were young teenagers, so they were about my size. They had not hit a growth spurt yet. And so
What
they were
size
really
are
long.
you?
I'm 4'11".
Oh
Okay,
my
okay.
goodness.
I thought you were tiny. I'm tiny too. I'm just a smidge taller. So go on with
Yeah,
the boys. You got to deal with the boys. I can relate to that.
they honestly, they were just so nice to me, and they helped me a lot, and they helped me in the jujitsu class because they did both.
Oh,
So I was
good.
rolling with them in the jujitsu class too, and I'd get to a spot and I'd go, "Darn!" And they'd say, "No, Elaine, we need to back up and do this again. You need to do this, not that." So they sort of coached me as we
Oh.
went along, which is really nice. I mean, you wouldn't think most teenage boys would be nice to a little old lady that looked like their grandmother, but they really were.
That's so great. I love hearing that because I think like, teenage boys can get a bad rep, but that's jujitsu though, right? Like everybody's here to help each
It
other out.
That's right.
That is so awesome. So you are 76 now?
Yeah.
So over the past like 6 or 7 years, like what has that experience and like evolution been like for you? So like tell us about like your promotions and like the journey. I'm so curious to hear more about your journey so far.
It was I have a video of when I got my blue belt,
Mhm.
and they have in my gym, if you get a blue belt, the professor is going to do a judo throw or something on you. It's just a sort of rite of passage. So when I got my blue belt, he picked me up over his head and twirled me around and then dropped me on the floor. It's like, okay, well, that was fun.
That's amazing.
It was
That is so
great.
cute.
It really was. And I have to tell you the truth. When I got my fourth stripe on my purple belt, third stripe, I said, "Professor Khalifa, would you just stall me at the purple belt for a
Yeah.
while?" I just stall. And he said, "Don't tell me how to do my job." I went, "Okay."
Oh.
He's determined I'm going to make it to black belt, which I will be 80 or over
Yes.
when I get there, and I'll need a walker to get to the mat.
I mean, I think you can do it.
I think you can too.
I'm counting on you.
I've watched your videos. Like you're awesome to watch, and it's so fun. And like, how has your body held up over the past 6 or 7 years? Because I feel like I'm perpetually sore
Broken.
in my 30s.
Yeah.
So, what is that
Well,
like for you?
I honestly think it was better that I wasn't that much of an athlete or athletic pursuits when I was younger, because my knees are good, my back is good, my feet, my husband was a distance runner. His knees are shot.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I didn't have to deal with earlier, stress on my ankles and joints and things, besides just arthritis and stuff you get when you're older.
Mm-hmm.
There is a difference though between 69 and 76. I know more. That doesn't mean I can do more.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That
that's
makes
a good
sense.
point.
Yeah, because you lose a little flexibility. Uh, as much as I work out, I'm still probably, it's hard to keep muscle mass at this age.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yes. Are you
Stuff like
lifting weights also?
I did it for about a month, 2 months, but I
Uh-huh.
just can't get regulated to do that. I need to.
Yeah.
I'm been talking with my friend about getting back to the gym. Heck, my husband lifts weights every night. I should go and join him.
Yeah, even just do just a little bit. I know it's really hard to get in. That's probably the most difficult thing for me to keep my joints healthy is to lift weights and make sure. But I do notice a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Well,
you've also competed, and I want to hear about some of that experience. How old were you when you did your first competition?
I was 70 and I had just gotten my blue belt. In fact, I had not even gotten my belt yet when my professor pulled me aside and he said, Elaine, I'm taking you to the World Masters out in Las Vegas. And I went, oh, really? He said, you have to be a blue belt. He said, well, you'll be a blue belt by the time you go. Oh, great. So, I mean, he didn't ask me. He just told me
Oh my
that I
gosh.
was going. So, and it's funny, the first girl I fought, Susan, is also the last girl I fought now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She just got her brown belt. Everybody gets their belt promotion after they fight me. which means I never win a fight, and they're always almost the next belt up before I ever.
Yeah. That's a tough place to be in the bracket too when you're like the newer belt and they're like, they're
Ooh,
moving
yeah,
on. You're like, ah.
yeah,
So, what do
that's
you
very
do?
different.
What do you do for prep? What's your comp prep routine look like?
Do I have one? Is what you're asking?
Oh, do you have one? Because now that you may not, I'm very interested. This might be better.
Well, I usually the last one I went to, the last Worlds last September, whenever it was, I spent a lot of time in the gym. I was there probably 4 days a week and taking some private lessons and watching a lot of videos that I had taped on my phone,
Hmm.
and that you find just to try to get prepared, which did not help at all. I got killed. And when I
Oh
watch the
no.
video, I go, "What were you thinking, Elaine? That was so stupid. Why did you do?" That's. Have you ever? If you
Yes.
ever video yourself rolling, you look at it and go, "You're an idiot. What the
Yeah.
heck?"
It never looks like it does in our head.
No, no. My
I've
brain goes on vacation or something. I don't know. I mean,
I've seen some really funny videos online of people doing like their internal commentary on their videos, like watching them back. And I feel like I need to do that because my internal commentary sounds very similar. I'm just like, what the hell are
mhm.
you doing, Mallory?
I know,
How did
really.
we get here?
you know. And some of the things I watch and I go, "Oh, that was good, Elaine." But this last fight, there was no that was good. There was just not.
It just didn't go. Do you think you over prepared?
No, I don't know. My brain was on vacation. I can't explain it. Uh,
Yeah.
I can relate.
Uh,
So the coach forced you to start competing. What keeps you competing?
I think the challenge, which is
mhm.
why I do jujitsu, why I ride horses. It's a challenge. It's a
Yeah.
challenge that I don't want to give it up. It's like I just grit my teeth and do it no matter what.
Yeah.
Do
And
you?
I'm usually fighting women that are 10 to 15 years younger than me. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. What masters division are you fighting in usually?
It's 61 and older, and I'm 76. Well, I mean,
Okay.
yeah, that's
Wow.
15 years.
That's
Wow.
a that's a big
That's a big gap.
huge gap, but it's also like a bigger challenge because just the body itself is like,
Oh, gosh, yes.
wow.
So does
I'm
I've
your
more
actually
impressed.
yeah,
Even more
I've
impressed.
competed with master fives and fours when I was younger, like in my early 70s.
Oh my
And
gosh.
that those were pretty rough matches. I
Yeah.
try, yeah. I try to hang on the full 5 minutes and not tap out, but I've had to tap once or twice.
Yeah.
Once,
Oh, ain't no shame in that.
Have
well,
has your husband gone to watch your competitions?
oh yeah, he always goes with me and cheers me on, bless his heart. He's been a good soldier about it. I'll give him that.
Uh,
That's so cool.
does he have
That's helpful.
does he have like an understanding of jujitsu, or does he just kind of watch and like has no idea what's going on?
I would say he probably has no great idea.
That's the same with my husband.
Yeah.
But he's always there.
He's always there supporting, but he doesn't really know what's happening.
No,
The
he wouldn't.
last competition I did, my coaches couldn't go, and so he was just kind of standing in as my coach, but he didn't really know what to say, so he was just standing there. And then, you know how you go and shake the other coach's hand after. So I thought it was just so funny when the competitors went and shook his hand, like he knew what he was
He
doing at
knew what he
all.
was doing. It's always better if your coach is there for me.
Yeah, me too,
Sometimes they
definitely.
aren't. Yeah, and it's harder because the only one I ever won was because of my coach, and it was that first one I went to, Worlds. I won one, I lost one, I tied two, but the ties went to the other girl. But when I won it, we were sort of battling at the front, and my coach yelled, "Trip her, Elaine," or some "sweep her, Elaine" is what he said, and I just kicked her foot out from under her and landed on top of her, and I just didn't let her up.
There
And
you
that's how
go.
I won the match. You know? So he was really responsible probably for the anything good that's ever happened in competitions. Him yelling at me.
Oh, that's good. So what is next for your goals? Are you doing more competition? Are you looking for a belt promotion? What does the track for you look like for jiu-jitsu right now?
Well, I'm on track to get a brown belt, maybe the end of this year or something, and I'm scared to death because you're supposed to know something if you're a brown belt, and I'm not really sure I'm qualified to know a whole lot. Even, I mean, I forget more than you know, a lot of what I've learned, probably
Yes.
because of my age. I just can't remember. I got CRS. I can't remember stuff. So, that.
We're definitely on the same track. I'm sitting at 4 stripes on my purple belt right now, looking probably by the end of the year for brown belt, and I'll stay here forever if I could. Just don't promote me anymore.
That's exactly how I feel. Exactly
Just
how I
leave
feel.
me
Because
here.
yeah, because they even expect the purple belts to know something, and I just
I know. The pressure is too much.
Mhm.
Ask my
it
professor. I
is.
don't know anything.
Yeah, and I'm like a pretty new purple belt. I've only been a purple belt for a few months now, so I'm putting so much more pressure on myself, like I'm supposed to know something.
You're not.
I
So I
know.
get it.
God.
I think we all experience that in jujitsu. Um,
I think so. I really think so. We're insecure about
yeah.
our
Yeah.
knowledge.
I do want to rewind for just a second because I wanted to ask, what was your kids' responses to you telling them that you were going to start training jujitsu and judo?
Oh, they think I'm crazy. But honestly, I have to tell you this: my two daughters, who are my two older kids, they had this conversation about if one of us kicks the bucket, who was going to take whom, who was going to take mama, who was going to take daddy. And so my younger daughter says to her older sister, "Now I cannot take daddy. We're too much alike. We'll do nothing to fight. So you're gonna have to take the German. I'm not taking him." And I said, "Well, you think you got the better the deal, but I can ignore daddy. Mother's nuts." And I well, thanks a lot. That's what they think. That's it right there.
Have you ever put any of them in a chokehold?
I've thought about it several times.
That is so
Oh man.
awesome. Do your grandkids just think you're like the coolest grandma in the world?
Well, the grandkids think it's great,
Yeah.
but yeah, they do.
That's
Thank
so
goodness,
good.
at least somebody does.
Right?
Oh,
Well, the
that's
whole world out here is watching you and paying
mhm.
attention and very impressed. Like
Yeah.
we think it's great.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, my when I started following you, I like immediately showed my grandmother some of the videos because you reminded me of her because she is like a feisty little lady, but she was in her 80s when I showed her this. She passed last year. She was 92, but
Oh wow.
she lived in the other side of the country, but she would always say, if I was there, I would come and take some of your classes because I teach fundamentals. So she would say, like, I wish I could come and take your classes and stuff. And
Oh, that's great. Jeez.
Yeah,
Just the thought that she would consider it. Most of my friends would not consider that.
yeah.
They just wouldn't do it. And
Yeah, she was a badass. We had to make her stop climbing up ladders to clean out her gutters like into her 80s. So
oh yeah, we got along really well, really well.
yeah, I think that you really would have. So
That's so
Well,
funny.
my
but
professor told me he thought I was probably the oldest person to ever start and stay with jujitsu.
really,
At 69.
mm-hmm.
Of course, you get coral belts and black belts that are in their 80s,
Right,
Sure.
yeah.
But they didn't
but they've
start
been
that
doing it.
late.
Yeah, that's right. It's too late to start. Oh, very
Yeah.
late.
Yeah, it's just so incredible and so inspiring and you've gotten a pretty good following over the years. So what what is that like for you? Do you have people like coming up to you at competitions like Jujitsu Grandma?
They do. I'm amazed. My husband just stands back and takes pictures. He said, "God, you don't even walk in and your fan club's, you know." And they're so nice. I mean, it's flattering for me. I'm so honored to have people come and say hello to me. I really am. It's because listen, I'm a little old lady. I'm not even good at what I do. So
I
it's to
love it.
have that much attention is really sort of strange to me, but
Mhm.
I appreciate everybody being so nice. I do.
I think you're just such a huge inspiration to people. Like, we're all sitting over here, like, my knee's sore or my shoulder hurts or whatever. Like, I'm too old. And then I just like to turn people to your page and be like, just keep your excuses to yourself. Just go see this and then come back and tell me you're too old. So,
Yeah.
what advice would you give somebody who is thinking about trying jujitsu and feels like maybe they have missed their window and they're too old to do something?
All I have to do is watch me. But our gym gives you a week free to come, so you can come and try it. If you don't like it, that's fine. But at least you can, God, you could go 5 or 6 times if you wanted
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
Yes.
for free. So that really is. I mean, that's a big plus. And jiu-jitsu isn't for everybody. It's a close body contact sport,
Mhm.
and a lot of people don't like people in their personal space. I think there are men out there that would not appreciate their women, rolling around with sweaty guys.
Definitely.
Maybe. Which is unfortunate because it could save their lives.
Absolutely. Somebody asked me one time what was the worst thing about jujitsu, and I said, yeah, maybe rolling around with sweaty guys. And they said, well, what's the best thing? I said, rolling around with sweaty guys. I mean, how many women my age get to do that?
They're all muscly and
Right.
sweaty.
Oh, so do you have like what are your like favorite training partners? Do you like training with like smaller women your size or do you just love the challenge of like a bigger dude? What is what is your like preferred training style?
Well, I am so small. There isn't anybody my size in that gym. My one of my main training partners, she probably weighs 135, 140, and
Hmm.
she's not big, but she just, I weigh 110, so there's
Okay.
that,
Wow. Yeah.
you know. So I'm used to rolling with people that are a great deal heavier for me,
Hmm.
uh, which is a challenge, of course.
Yeah. Well,
Yes, it is.
it's
Now I'm gonna
incredible
tell you
though.
though, we
Oh.
normally I get to roll with girls because there's a lot of girls in our gym. But when I started, I was mainly rolling with guys, and they're usually nicer than the
Yes.
girls. They'll defend until they get sick of me. Then they're going to dump me off. But the girls are going to try to kill me. They don't
Yeah.
care. I
It's a
mean,
fact. It's a fact.
Yeah,
yeah,
who's
absolutely.
your what is the oldest age and youngest age of your women training partners in your gym?
Well, there are some teenagers that are 14, 15, 13, 14, 15 that are, that train with us.
Mm.
They're very nice girls. And then of course, I'm the oldest, and the next one's going to be in the early 40s.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, there's some older guys that come occasionally. I haven't seen them in a while, but I know they were in their later 50s or 60s.
Oh, they
But
quit.
I don't know if they're going to stick. Yeah, they may have. I haven't seen them
They couldn't handle it. They're like, nah, it's too hard. Oh man.
So I think that a big part of jujitsu too is like not only like the physical benefits and kind of transformation that you experience, but like the mental and emotional side of it. Um,
Absolutely.
so what kind of changes have you noticed like mentally since starting jujitsu?
Well, I'll tell you the the main first thing physically that I want to mention is that when I started this, I had osteopenia, and I do not have it now.
Wow.
Yeah, 6 years later, after pushing and pulling and all this stuff they make you do, my bones look great. My orthopedic doctor went, "Man, Elaine, your bones look really dense." And well, let me tell you why. Jiu-jitsu,
That's
you
so
know,
cool.
yeah. So physically, certainly it has helped me a lot, and mentally, at my age, there a lot of people are inclined to just sit around and watch TV and
Mhm.
grow old. Well, I've got to do a lot of thinking because
Mhm.
jiu-jitsu is a chess match, a moving chess match. So you got to play offense and defense at the same time. Um, it's a lot of mental work as well as physical, and that is certainly good at my age. It is. There's no
Yeah.
doubt about it. That not only the community of all the people I've met, which they say, the better you can stay with friends and stay active socially, the less your brain deteriorates.
Right.
Well, a whole gym of it's a huge gym too. I mean, it's a huge
Oh.
gym, to meet, and it's been great. It's been great for me all the way around.
Yeah, and I'm sure that everybody in your gym probably sees you as like a grandma figure. And like
They
you're
want to hang
just
out.
like just I mean jujitsu grandma. Like I look at your page and I'm like, "Oh, it's my jujitsu grandma."
It's funny though, when I step on that mat, I forget how old I am because I'm surrounded by young people.
Mhm.
Surrounded by
Yeah.
young people, so I forget that I'm old. Of course, I'll remember after class
Yeah. Have you had
later.
to deal with injuries and things like that?
Oh, sure. I got kicked in judo class and got a big hematoma on my leg that had to be surgically removed. It was so large.
Oh
Oh
my
my
And
gosh.
gosh.
yeah, that was gross. And
Oh.
then I tore my elbow open. Your skin gets thinner when you get older. And I
Oh
think
yeah.
I drug my arm too hard over the mat, and it literally peeled the skin back on my elbow, and my elbow bone was sticking out, scared the professor half to death. And I bled all over my partner, which was not good.
So to
So
prevent that with your skin thinning, do you have to wear like long sleeve rash guards and spats under your gi
I
all the
did
time?
start. I did start wearing my long sleeve rash guard, and then I did the same thing to my hand a few weeks ago. The same sort of thing. The back of my hand, I was, pulling my hand out, and it just tore open the skin.
Oh.
Uh, and so I've got some gloves. Those, I guess they call them burn gloves or something. They're real tight and
Mhm.
they leave your fingers out. And I can wear that if I do it again. I'll,
Yeah.
I'll put a glove on for a while to help protect it. But
This
that's
is
just a part of it.
fantastic.
Yeah, so this is gonna be the like healthcare person in me. But I actually work in I work in wound care. So
Oh, there you
I
go.
see, like aging skin and wounds and skin cares all the time. So I was just
Oh,
gonna say you should get some skin protectors for your hands too. So I'm glad that you have that.
well, when I tore my elbow open, I was trying to find a place where I could get it stitched up. I finally went to my son-in-law, who's a nurse anesthetist, and he glued it shut. And he
Oh
said,
Mhm.
yeah.
Elaine, you really needed stitches, so don't tear it again. Keep your arm out till
Yeah,
it heals.
'cause stitches can be tough too on that thinner skin. So,
They
but
can.
but
I
it
think
healed
the
up
glue worked.
okay.
Yeah, it worked out really good.
Good.
I love it.
Oh,
Oh my goodness. All right, Elaine, we are getting close to wrapping up. Is there anything else that you wanted to like talk about or share with us that's come to your mind?
Well, some years ago, my professor had taken a picture of me. I think I was still a white belt, And it was really good. We were fighting, so it's a really good picture of me on top of somebody. And I had it blown up and put on a poster. And on the bottom, I put "not too old and not too late." And it
Oh,
hangs in my closet so that when I walk in, I see it every day to remind me, you can do this.
oh
You can
my
do this.
gosh. Do you think, is there a
Oh,
way that
I'm
you can,
tearing up.
is there a way that you can maybe send us a photo of that? I would love to see it.
Absolutely. I will
Oh
Oh,
my
absolutely send it to you.
gosh.
oh.
I've got it on my phone even.
Yeah, I
So
think
I'm
that
happy to send
that's probably going to be the
That's
title of
very
our
cool.
episode.
Yes.
I
Wow.
just I think that you're just so inspiring, and I know that we keep saying it, but I mean how incredible you are.
Yeah.
And like you've truly like it from, all of these states away. I've never met you, but you have truly like impacted my jujitsu career
Yes.
just like following you. And there's times in my, I'm in my 30s and I'm like, oh, I'm too old for this shit when my body's feeling
Mhm.
sore and whatever. But then I'm like, no, like I'm not. I'm like, I can do this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just really like, I love following your journey and I appreciate you sharing it the way that you do because I think it's so
Thank,
special.
thank you so much. And your comment is exactly what I mostly hear from other people around the world.
Mm-hmm.
That they think they're too old until they see that and they go, well, if she can do it, surely I can try.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that alone, that's nice for me. I appreciate y'all letting me be on your podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
You.
We do like to close out with just a couple of like fun questions.
Okay.
So just go ahead and answer with the first thing that comes to your mind. So first off,
Uh-oh.
gi or no gi?
Gee,
What is your favorite submission?
a chokehold of some kind. I like
Nice.
the paper cut.
Do you prefer takedowns or guard pulling?
I never pull guard.
Wow, good for you.
Because judo.
Because judo,
Yeah.
yeah, of course. Of course. Would you rather have unbreakable cardio or never get sore?
Uh, I think I'd go with the cardio.
Yeah, that's a good one. Uh, what is something that people would be surprised to learn about you other than the fact that you train jujitsu in your 70s?
Man, I don't know.
That's a
I'm
tough
pretty much
one.
an open book about
It's
stuff,
true.
you
Yeah.
know. They
That's,
may be surprised to know that I jumped out of an airplane when I was 20.
There
oh,
you
I love
go.
that.
So it's sort of odd for somebody to do.
Yeah, and one last one. What is your dream travel destination for training or competing?
Brazil.
Oh, well, yep.
Yes.
I mean, all
Oh,
my professors are from Brazil. I
Mm,
want to go.
they
yeah.
better take you.
Yeah, really.
Well, we happened to go to a training camp in Costa Rica.
Yes.
And that's really fun. They do multiple. It's called Hero BJJ Retreats. Give them a little plug
We love
here.
heroes. I
But they're
know.
Oh,
so great. I went to my first one this year, and Jen's been going for a few years now. But they do like training camps all throughout the year with pretty like big names. And man, you should come with us next
You
year.
should.
man,
It's very
that
laid
sounds
back.
fun.
It's really fun and man and my husband goes and he doesn't train so our husbands can hang out while we're training.
Does your husband golf?
No, well, he used to.
Well,
I'd
there you
rather
go.
leave it at home.
He can just
He
ride on
stay,
the back of the moped.
yeah. He stays
Oh,
home and feeds the horses.
That's too funny.
oh.
So, Elaine, where can we find you on Instagram and where can people keep up with you on your journey?
Well, if you Google Jiu-Jitsu Grandma, you're going to find me everywhere, but on Instagram too. I think it's Jiu-Jitsu_Grandma, if
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mistaken.
All
But
Yeah.
if they, yeah, they'll find me there.
Oh.
And so a lot of the videos and stuff are just on the internet in general
Mm-hmm.
too.
Oh.
So
Well,
I love
we
it.
so appreciate you. This has been an amazing conversation, and I really hope that we get to meet you in person someday because
Master
I
Worlds.
I just want to give you a big hug.
Oh man, I'd love that. I really would. I
Yeah,
hope we
so
could
We'll
see in
come
person.
find you.
so thank you so much for sharing your journey with us and for sharing your time with us.
Well, thank you. It was a pleasure and fun. Y'all
Yeah.
take care, girls.
Oh,
You take care too, Jiu-Jitsu
thank you,
Grandma. We love
Elaine.
you.
Have the best
Thank you.
day.
Bye bye. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.